from the world of football now, and Manchester United have finally announced the news that has been pretty much in the public domain for quite some time, but it is now official. Erik Ten Hag, the man who until recently, or in fact is even now the manager of Ajax Amsterdam in Netherlands, has been named as the new manager of Manchester United. Now, Erik Ten Hag is a name that is known to many people who are interested in the sport of football. Ten Hag has worked wonders at Ajax, and he's transformed them from a side that was just slightly on the decline into an absolute force, not only in domestically but also in Europe. Ten Hag, as we know, did end up taking them to a Champions League semi-final in 2019, where they ended up getting knocked out in very dramatic circumstances against a Tottenham side that would end up finishing runners-up that year. Now, obviously, Ten Hag represents a departure from the kind of managers that United had until recently been pursuing. Obviously, United, since the Sir Alex Ferguson era ended in the year 2013, have somewhat struggled to fill the void left by the great Scot. But they have managed to get through quite a few managers in that time, but past glories or achieving or replicating past glories has been a bit of an issue. In fact, their last permanent manager was club legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who ended up getting the sack just a few months into the 2021-22 season, and now they currently under the interim stewardship of Ralf Rangnick, a manager who has in the past managed clubs like Schalke, and who will at the end of the season be taking up a role in the upper parts of the office and upper management, and he will be there on a consultancy basis for I think 2 or 3 years. And he's currently the caretaker manager, but results have absolutely declined. Many think that the reason that this happened was due to the fact that United players knew that they were in something of a holding pattern, and they needed the appointment of a new man, someone who would be there on a permanent basis. And Erik Ten Hag definitely ticks many boxes in that regard. Ten Hag is not only a young, modern, progressive manager, he's known to play a very aggressively attacking style of football, very attractive, very easy on the eye. He's worked wonders, as I said, at Ajax. And of course, there is the fact that United have sorely lacked a manager of his caliber in recent years. So obviously the news had been doing the rounds for quite some time, but it has been made official. I will now read out the statement that Manchester United have put out on their website. They say that Manchester United is delighted to announce the appointment of Erik Ten Hag as men's first team manager, subject to work visa requirements from the end of this season until June 2025, with the option to extend for a further year, which basically means he signed a 3-year deal with an option for a 1-year extension thereafter. And in case this might seem a little awkward, it is worth noting that Manchester United generally do give out contracts in a similar way, not only to managers but also to players, where they will have the option at the end to trigger a 1-year extension if they feel that things are going well, or if they feel it's going badly. Maybe for players, obviously it's about preserving market value. For a manager, it would just be a simple case of, okay, let's add another year to his contract. Obviously, Ten Hag represents a very different kind of manager from the way that United have gone about with things in the post-Alex Ferguson era. If we go back and take a little trip down memory lane, they had, of course, anointed David Moyes as the successor, and he was dubbed the chosen one by many. But of course, his spell didn't work out at all. He was sacked less than a season into the job. After that, they had Louis van Gaal. He lasted 2 seasons, didn't do much in the league, but he did win an FA Cup. He was replaced by Jose Mourinho, who had 3 seasons, won 2 trophies, and had a second place finish in the Premier League. But of course, his time ended acrimoniously. They brought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at an interim basis, then on a permanent basis for a full 2 odd seasons nearly. He got sacked at the end of this and in the middle of this season, and they then moved to Ralf Rangnick as a caretaker. But Rangnick will not only be the caretaker till the end of this season, he will also be overseeing things on a consultancy basis for the next another 2 or 3 years. Now, let's just take a few questions on this. Chaitanya Gupta asks, is Michael Carrick still part of the supporting staff, or he left with Ole? No, he's still very much part of it, if I'm not wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong there. He did not leave with Ole because he was part of the, he was interim manager for a wee bit. Redacted Chetty says, United first need to move on from United way and falling on Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. Football has changed, and United have to change with the times. I agree with you, Redacted, and I think that is why bringing in someone like Erik Ten Hag, who very much fits the progressive image mold of the likes of a Guardiola or a Klopp, to a lesser extent a Tuchel. He fits that image as a manager, someone who likes to play a certain way, who's into modern training methods and who relies on stats and data in terms of his preparation, believes in working hard on and off the ball. Ten Hag is a very good appointment in that regard. Of course, there will be questions about whether or not United would let him be a success, as Siddhant and I have discussed in other previous videos. Do check them out if you haven't. That one of United's biggest problems is that it stems from the top. And there's an old saying that says that the fish rots from the head. That means everything that happens from the top. Now, United have undergone a bit of a change in recent years when it comes to their top level management. Ed Woodward has quit, and you've had John Murtaugh come in as director of football. He's working alongside the likes of Darren Fletcher. So there is something of a change in that regard. How effective that change is, well, that remains to be seen. But you cannot deny the fact that appointing someone like a Ten Hag is absolutely what United needed at this point. Of course, appointing Ten Hag is no guarantee for instant success. We've seen that. I think the only of the current two best managers in the Premier League, when you count Guardiola and Klopp, only Guardiola had some degree of success to begin with, but that's also because City were a very well-run machine when he took over. He's just made them even more elite, even more ruthless. Klopp, it is worth remembering, took over a Liverpool side that were in a somewhat similar plight to what United are right now. Inconsistent, up and down the table, maybe a threat in the cups. But you see what he's done with them now, and it is full credit to the kind of system and the support that he has from the top, that he's been able to transform the club, mold them in their image. Ten Hag is a similar kind of manager, but it is worth remembering two things. One, at Ajax, he had a very good support system. You had former United legend of all people, Edwin van der Sar, as director of football. There's a nice little structure in place, and they worked very efficiently. United, on the other hand, do not work efficiently in that regard when it comes to player buying, when it comes to selling of players. They have been a bit of a jumble in recent years. So that is something that will have to change, and they will have to support the manager and back the manager a lot, because it is clear that even though not having a permanent manager is a bit of a problem, it is clear that there is personnel within United which might need a little bit of a clear out. So I think this summer is going to be an interesting one, but United have made the right start by appointing Erik Ten Hag on a 3-year deal with an option for a 4th. Well, as I said, whether or not the move is a success will depend a lot on Manchester United, the club, as much as it will on Ten Hag himself. Obviously, this is breaking news, and this is all that we have for you for now. So thank you guys very much for joining us. If you enjoyed what it is that we do, Redacted Chetty with an interesting point. He's saying that Ten Hag did work with Guardiola at Bayern. That is absolutely spot on. So he does have some insight into how people like Guardiola work. But anyway, we're calling it quits in this little video for now. As I said, the big news, Erik Ten Hag is the new Manchester United manager and the man that United believe can take them back to where they belong, which is the top of the table. So thank you very much for joining us in this particular live session. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like the video, comment, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we have a lot of things coming for you, and we're always going to be there to interact with you guys and give you the latest happenings from the world of sport. As always, I've been Shane Dias. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye for now.